Okay, so I am on my way to do a final zero on the old 300. And I don't know if you can see outside, but it's not a very good day for shooting. It's raining pretty good, which sucks because then that puts both my Crony and my laser out of business. So hopefully we can get a break in the weather here and actually map this thing out. I'd like to get a map out to maybe 600 or 700 today. This is the last day I have to shoot before we go hunting. So at the worst, we'll put on a final zero at 100 and call it good, but I would like to map it as well out to a distance. Yeah, like I say, hopefully we can get a break in the weather and we can go from there. We'll see how the load develops. I loaded them all at 63 grains, which was number 2. I'm kind of thinking, if you remember back from for our first and second target last time, number 1 and 2 had, well, 1 I shot 4, so 3 were good, and then 1 was a little low and right, and then group number 2 had 2 that were nice, and then 1 was a little low and right. So I'm kind of thinking it's me, based on the fact that the slow motion would reveal that it's recoiling to the right under recoil. I think I need to just adjust my form or my grip or something. So I'm thinking that I might be throwing those wild, and if that's the case, then that's really good accuracy. That'd probably be half minute if I could just suck that third one in and avoid pulling that. So I'll adjust my form and see if I can tighten in those groups. But anyways, loaded them all at 63, and then I loaded actually 3 kind of as an experiment with CCI 250 Magnum primers, just to see. Traditionally, Magnum primers get worse accuracy, but we'll see. Generally, you want the smaller the primer and flash, the more accurate generally. And I actually did some reading yesterday, and there was a guy on Long Range Hunting Forum, and he said that he had talked to bench rest shooters, and he's a big time competition shooter, and he said that the biggest cause for wild extreme spread and standard deviation is, listen to this, is primers and firing pin springs. He said that those are the 2 leading causes for large deviations. So change the primer, and firing pin spring I'm confident is good. It's a brand new rifle basically, so I don't know, I changed one of those variables and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm here at 467 yards, got it all dialed in at 100, almost sort of dialed in, having a few trouble because I can't seem to break through quarter run away. Anyways, make it short, as you can see, it is not a good day for shooting. The wind is very gusty and swirling and raining, but I am happy with this, 467. That's not bad. Like sorry, I'm just gonna get my tape. I am extremely happy with that. In this wind at 467, let's see just roughly what this group size is. That's 3/4 MOA, or like maybe just over. Like we're looking at just over 3 inches, 3 1/4. Yeah, wow. That is, I am really happy with that. So, I mean, it's kind of tough too, because if you can see, here we are at the target. You kind of have to lob it in over that swath. The swaths are so tall, you have to lob it in. So, I mean, I'm going to call that a true velocity out to 467. We'll see if we can bump it back a little further and go from there. Okay, so we're here again. I did a stupid thing. I should have left the gong out there, come out here, and then arrange the gong back and add the distance together, because there's no way I'm going to get a reading in this rain. It's really getting quite poo-poo out here. It's not the best. So I did get the rock pile just in front of where I shoot there, a couple hundred yards in front at 646, so I'm guessing we're probably going to be around 800 yards or just under. So we got a target here. Just spray that up a little. Who really cares? Don't have any time. Okay, let's see if we can get it done. I have to make a couple of hits. It's kind of hard to explain, but so I shot here. That was the first shot. You saw a little puff high, so that I moved it down. Let me move it down a minute and a half, and then I think that's probably this one here, and then the other one I probably missed clean. This wind and weather is just insane, but I'm super stoked I was able to get on target with that. Like, if you think here's 8 foot, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Anyways, I'll talk more about this later. It's cold and raining and extremely windy. Like, very, very bad conditions to be shooting. Not a day to be mapping trajectories. Okay, so we're back here at the bench. And just inexplicably terrible coffee. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's decaf. I'm reasonably certain they gave me decaf. Okay. So, decent day shooting. As you can see, the weather was extremely terrible in the videos prior here. About the last video at 777, I mean, obviously the 2 shots on the gong are nothing to get too excited about, but at the same time, I think one of the things I like best about long-range shooting is there's always a result. Like, whether you miss clean or you get hits anywhere on target, it's a result. So, and that's just, like, it's something to go off. So, I mean, my hits weren't exactly near the center, but in that kind of wind and that kind of conditions, I'm pretty stoked just to see my impacts, because obviously there's no other way I'm gonna see it. Like, there's swaths in the field, and you gotta, like, cut across sloughs and low swaths where there's no crop to get there, but there's always a result, and so that's it's always encouraging. So, like, if we look at the target here, so I was shooting and then I hit the top one there, as you can see, and then I didn't know that it hit that bar. I thought I hit the actual crossbar. So then I dialed down a minute, and I would suspect that would probably be the one down low. So any number of things could happen. Kind of what I'm leaning towards is that the top one was a complete fluke. I mean, obviously, because it hit that bar, but it was a fluke, or I pulled it high, and then I dialed down a minute, which would be 8 inches at 777. And if you look at the tape, measure, if I were to go up 8 inches, that's dead center of the target. So I'm thinking, like, maybe I pulled that one high and then dialed down and then made a good shot of the last one, but I was already dialed down a full minute and then hit 8 inches low. So that's probably where I'll start next time, is exactly where I was shooting this time. And I mean, obviously I'm off the left edge of the target. You can see they're almost missing, but I mean, those kind of winds, pretty tricky. But super stoked about the 427 yard. That's really, really nice. They are high, like, they're a touch high, but the thing is I think I was probably aiming a touch high, because the target was cut off with a swath. I couldn't see the full gong, so I think I was, just subconsciously erring on the upper portion of the target just to stay away from that swath. So when you look where center is, that's not too bad. Even wind call, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. But either way, getting back to 777, like, hopefully that made some sense. The first one, I suspect, was shooter error. Didn't know it, whereas in reality I was actually dialed perfect. Then I dialed down a minute, which put me 8 inches low. So we'll give that a try anyways. But like I say, I'm really stoked with that, just because there's something to analyze, there's something to look at, and when you have something to go off, you're miles ahead. Like I say, that's one of the things I like best about shooting, is it's always a result.
whether it's good or bad, there's something to pick apart, something to analyze. I mean, when you miss clean, obviously that is worst case scenario, but even still, whatever you're doing isn't working. It's a result. So, probably gonna keep this load for hunting. I'm right out of time. That was the last day I had to shoot, which is why I was shooting in such terrible conditions. And probably keep that load. And yeah, I think the only thing really left to do with the rifle is just to switch out the bubble level. Nothing against what I got here, but if you look, I'm going to switch out the Vortex bubble for this Wheeler that flips out like this. I mean, I generally don't like this level quite as much as I do with the Vortex, but it's a little bit lower profile, and it slips into my gun boot a little better. I have a Everlay stock with the gun scabbard in the pack, and so it's easier to slide in and out with it's a little bit lower profile, and then especially with this scope cover, it slides in a little bit nicer, like this, so you can see it just works a little better. Probably the low profile bubble level from Vortex would likely cure that issue, but let's see if I can show you. A low profile bubble level from Vortex, the new ones, would probably be quite a bit better for sliding in the pack, but but I don't have one. I just have one of these, so I'm going to switch it out for the Wheeler for this trip. So switch that out and load up 33 more loads, and that'll pretty much be a box of burgers and a pound of powder. So we will see. I wish I could get a little bit better accuracy at 100. I can't seem to break 3/4 away. It's just, it is so easy to screw up and pull your shots, like any deviation in form whatsoever, and it is so noticeable on paper. Like, one of the things I did, and we had a conversation about this not too long ago, a couple hours, but you can see that I'm recoiling it to the right, but you can also see that I've pulled my left shoulder in a bit because I'm reaching forward like this. Normally, if you're shooting, well, when I'm shooting a heavier rifle, I have my shoulder back like this because I'm grabbing the rear bag underneath. But as soon as I grab that forend, I roll my shoulder in. And then when it recoils, I think I'm pushing it back like this, and it's just rolling it a bit. So I tried to grab, rather than grabbing the forend here, I slid my hand back to maybe about right here. And then that brought my left shoulder back, and that seemed to help. But like I say, any variation in how hard you're gripping it here or on the forend, or how hard you're pulling it back into your shoulder, like all these little things are so noticeable on paper. It's tough. It's tough to be consistent with this, and this is a huge learning curve for me. Huge, because I am not refined in the art of ultralight magnum shooting and trying to get reasonable precision out of it. It's a learning curve for sure. Like, I'm getting a little bit schooled on it because it's so unforgiving. Like with light rifle, high recoil really accentuates any form shortcomings, but just no forgiveness whatsoever. But I'm enjoying it because I'm learning a ton, and I guarantee you, when I go back to my heavy guns, I'll be a better shooter because of it. So that's a plus. Always learning something. Like I say, kind of tying into, like, there's always a result. Like, you're always learning something with this game. It's you never say to yourself, man, there's nothing I can improve on. Like, always learning, always getting better. But side note, velocity calibrates out to about 2,927 feet per second. So that's what we're loading. That should deliver quite a bit of energy. So we will see what we can make happen. And there might be another video after this. I know I said that I'd only do one more, but There might be another video, maybe just mapping a little bit better once I get back from hunting, but this is definitely the last video before I go hunting. And by all rights, I should not burn up 33 rounds while I'm hunting. If I am, I'm doing something wrong. So, yeah, maybe one more video, but this is it before the big trip. So, with that being said, we'll see ya on the other side. There's a real quick side note here. Just pulling out these crushed ones here with the inertia puller. Put her in there. Got the collet. Find something solid. In this case, I'm just going to use my press. Let's see if this goes. Boom. One hit. And that is that.